All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to automate your drop servicing custom illustration business. Now, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, then first of all, welcome. My name is George, and on this channel, I talk primarily about e-commerce, drop shipping, and drop servicing. And occasionally, I publish a video showing you how to make sweet potato fries. But on a serious note, on my channel, I talk primarily about drop servicing custom illustration business because that is what I do myself. And I have a bunch of videos showing you how to start drop servicing from start, step by step, how to set up your website, how to run ads, and so forth. But I've never showed how to actually automate the business. And the thing is, if you're just first starting out and you have a couple of orders per day, then it's all good. However, because you can do it yourself. But once you start growing, once you start scaling, you're going to have so many orders that it's not going to be possible to manage it all by yourself. So you will have to hire assistants. You will need to set up the proper systems so everything is flowing. You can scale harder and you can get more orders, and your customers are going to be happy. So what I mean by scaling, let's take a look, for example, in February. In February, I did almost $50,000 in sales and 1,500 orders. So you can imagine that, fulfilling 1,500 orders yourself is impossible. So you'll need to set up the systems, you'll need to hire people who will be able to, and leverage their time. Basically, that's what it is, right? Because this is just not time possible to do all by yourself, and it doesn't make sense to do it all by yourself because you need to automate the process, you need to have systems in place, and then you need to focus on higher level tasks such as marketing, which is the key to this whole kind of e-commerce, drop servicing, custom illustration business. So without any more talking, let me actually show you how to set up these systems. I'm going to break down my assistants that I have in my business, right? So how many of them and what kind of service they do for me, like what are their responsibilities. And I'm also going to show you a couple of applications that help me to have order management in place, because as you can imagine with these custom illustrations, we have revisions, right? So customers, when they get their illustration, they're not always satisfied on the first round, right? So they reach back to us and they say, hey, listen, can you please change a little bit my hair? Can you change a little bit my nails? So it gets very complicated because, you have a lot of orders, you have all these specifics, and you need to make sure that there's a system in place that enables you to, have each order and know, okay, in what stage of the process it is, right? Has it been fulfilled? Is it still in the process? Is there any revision required? Has the revision been sent to the customer? So I'm going to break it down all for you. Don't worry, just sit back, relax, take a cup of coffee, and learn. So let's get started. First things first, it's not that good to manage this whole thing in Shopify, right? Because Shopify is just literally a hub, where you host your website and all of that. So you need a separate thing for that. And what I use is something called Trello, right? So right here you can see that these are all the orders that's in the business right now. I can't actually open the one of the cards because then I'm going to show you what kind of illustration style we're doing, and I don't really want to do it as of the moment. But you can see right here that we have different columns, right? And all of these columns have a specific role. So the first column right here is waiting for answer. So basically what this means is that there's something missing in one of these orders and we're still waiting for the customer reply, right? Maybe the quality of the photo is bad, or maybe the customer paid for one person in the illustration and sent a photo with two people. So we need to make sure that it all kind of sticks together. So, we are not at a loss creating this illustration. Then the second column is the to-do column, right? So you can see these cards right here. They are created automatically by the systems that I'm going to show you in this video, right? So we don't actually create these cards. It's a system. Once an order comes into Shopify, the system creates that card in Trello, right? And then it assigns an artist to that card, right? So who is the artist is going to create this. It sets the deadline and it attaches the photo, it creates the name and also the comments, right? So if a customer left some kind of a comment, it also does it here. And just in a moment, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to actually put that system in place so you will get these orders synced automatically to Trello, right? So that's the first column. The next column is working. So once an artist gets assigned to one of these orders, he then receives an email, and I'm going to show you the rules in a second as well. And he receives an email saying, hey, you were assigned to a new order. So then what he can decide to do is he can drag that card into the column working. And this indicates to us that the artist is aware that he has an order and he is now starting to work on that card, on that order. And then once the illustration is complete, the artist uploads that illustration to that card and moves that card to the column done, okay? And then from done, it either goes to the column rejected or approved. And this is where the first freelancer / assistant comes into play. So I have an assistant dedicated specifically towards checking the quality of the illustration and then either approving them or rejecting them. So, we have a team of a lot of artists. You can see right here we have about 45 artists or so right now. And the quality is not always that good. Maybe sometimes the artist just doesn't have a good day, or maybe they're in a rush or something. So after in the column done, one of the VAs goes through each illustration and then decides whether to move it into the rejected. And if she does, then she leaves a comment of what needs to be changed, right? And then if it gets approved, then it moves to the approved column. From the approved column, another assistant takes that illustration, goes and creates a Zendesk ticket, right? So we use Zendesk for customer support. And then the assistant creates a ticket. So basically a ticket is an email, has a macro, which is a template. So we have a specific template saying, hey, thanks for waiting patiently. Here's your illustration, blah, 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 blah. And then she attaches that illustration and boom, sends it off to the customer. Once that illustration gets sent to the customer, the card, so the order, gets moved to the column sent. Okay, so now we have sent the illustration to the customer. Then, once the customer gets back to us, then there are two possible. There are many more, but the two most common one is either they're fully satisfied and they don't want any changes. And the second thing is that they're not that satisfied and they want some kind of revision or they want to change something. So then we search that card here in Trello and we move it to not me, but the assistants, they move it to the column revision. And in that card's comments, they add the customer's revision request, right? So for example, I don't know, change my hair color or, make it brighter, darker, whatever. And then the artist can actually see the comments and then the artist goes ahead, does the necessary changes. And once they do, they re-upload the new updated illustration to that card and move it to revision complete. And as you can guess, from revision complete, one of the assistants then sent that illustration to the customer, the revised one, and then we move the card to revision sent. So you can see there's a lot of columns, but this is kind of the system that works for us right now, and it's all right. It's not the best, but it works. The next thing is, how do we actually how do we actually sync Shopify with Trello, right? Because as I said, we don't do it manually, we have it automatically. And that's a very good question. We use Zapier. So Zapier is an app that allows you to sync different programs and systems. And you can see right now, right here, I have a Zap. It's called a Zap. And it's called New Order Create Card. So what this basically does is you have a trigger and you have an action. So the trigger is new order in Shopify. So when there's a new order in Shopify, Zapier is triggered and then it creates an action in Trello. So once there's a new order in Shopify, Zapier creates a card in Trello. And here you can see that in the list to do, it creates a card with the name of the order, and then it takes the description, and then it also takes the customer notes. And that's basically it from the Zapier side. Now I also want to show you something here in Trello, which is called the rules. So let's take a look at some of these rules, and I'm gonna break it down what they mean. So let's take a look, for example, at this one. right? So this is the first one. And once again, there's a trigger and there's an action. So the trigger right here is when a card is created in list to do by anyone. And as you can remember, Zapier creates a card in Trello in the list, in the column to do. So the trigger is there, that's the action, and then the second trigger for Trello is that the card actually is created. And then these are the actions. Remove the cover image from the card, right? So sometimes there's like a cover image, and then it removes that. Add a member in turn from card source. So that means that it assigns that order to an artist that we have here in Trello. Set the due date in 3 days, and send an email notification to every member on the card with subject new order. Hey, you have a new order. Kindly check that your photos are attached correctly and the description is clear, right? And that's basically what it is. So you can see that this is quite an automated process, and the manual things we do are sending that illustration to the customer and then doing the revisions, right? So I try to automate it as much as possible. And lastly, I want to break down the assistants I have in my business, their roles, their responsibilities. So I had 4 assistants working for me. Now I have only 2 because the sales are very low. There's no events going on. So I don't require as much help right now. So we only have 2. The 2 I have currently are one lady, she is doing customer support, but besides customer support, she's kind of like an operations management. So, she's making sure that everything is running smoothly and stuff, that there is no bottlenecks. And then the second assistant I have, but she's also doing customer support, right? So she's like replying to social media tickets, she's replying to email tickets and so forth. The second assistant is a quality control, as I said earlier. So her primary role is to either reject or approve illustrations and write the comments. So we have like a SOP, standard operating procedure, with how the artist should aim to create their illustrations, right? So kind of like the gold standard. But now she's also helping with customer support. Besides this, I also have another freelancer who does search engine optimization. And then I have a couple of partnerships. So I have partnered with this one guy, Jack. Shout out to you if you're watching this video. He does email marketing on a commission base from sales. So what he does is he has access to Klaviyo, and he sets up email campaigns, right? And he sends them to our customer list. Now, you can see how much, those emails generate profit. And then we have set up this agreement that I pay him a certain percent of profit from those emails, right? And then now I'm also working on this other partnership for TikTok. So I want to get my brand onto TikTok, and I want to have a creator who is going to be posting content onto TikTok, consistently, and then with the goal of generating organic traffic. And once again, the partnership is going to be based around a percentage of profit. So you can see right here that I'm at a point right now in business, and if you follow this, you will be too, where people play a very critical role in your business, and your team, the people that surround you in this business, even though it's fully online and stuff, but still like people are working, is super critical, super important. And you want to work with good people that are capable, and not that necessarily that they have experience, because people can learn, and people, if someone is curious, if someone is willing to learn, they will learn really fast, and you will have a good synergy. So yeah, when I look for people, I don't necessarily look at people with experience. Instead, I look for people who are curious and who want to learn. That means that we both learn together and we both grow, and we have this synergy, we have this hunger to really make this business into something really cool. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And on this note, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Till next time.